Yo! Today is October 27th, 2022. Welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live. We are your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. We cover breaking news, culture, mimetic warfare. We'll be your guide through the separation of money and state. Giant miner. Giant. What the hell is going on? Sorry, guys. Having some technical issues here. Anyways, we'll be your guide. No, I already said that. Guys, huge miner capitulation today. Core Scientific, one of the largest miners in the world, basically is declaring that they might file for bankruptcy and they can't make the loan payments. Miners feeling the pain. Hash rate continues to go up, meaning the difficulty will continue to go up. But the Bitcoin price has dropped 70%. It's catastrophic. But don't worry, this has happened. This is just a repeat of what happened back in 2018. So history is repeating itself. And guys, I'll tell you something. The best opportunity to get into mining, it was in 2018 after this capitulation happened. Thing is, you have to survive and it's going to be very painful. But if you do survive, the miners that started in 2018, 2019 became extremely profitable by the time the next bull market happened, right? So this is just history repeating itself. It's nature healing. Anyways, Opti's having a little bit of connection issues today, so he's going to be audio only. How you doing, Opti?
Well, I've been better, apparently, considering that my video doesn't work. But hey, we're making it happen. Hopefully my audio is coming in through. I guess I'll have to figure out exactly what's going on with my internet, my connections over here. Nico, looks like my audio may not be coming in clearly, or what?
No, dude, you're crackling. You're in the matrix right now.
Oh my goodness, no.
Yeah, dude. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But I also want to say a very special shout out to our awesome guest. How you doing, BTC June?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you on the show. Opti, what do you have for us during the culture, bro?
Well, hopefully my audio works. I am going to morph this around my boy June because I happened to orange pill him, and I think he's a shining example of coin culture. And we had a great conversation last night, and I think we'll give some people some sauce over here on what they can do as a Bitcoiner, even if they don't code, if they don't mine, if they want to participate as a Bitcoiner with more than just stacking sats. So hopefully this works. Hopefully this works for you guys.
Yeah, we will give it a shot, guys. Bear with us. Looks like Restreams have giving us some issues once again. Anyways, guys, let's start the show. Number time. Brought to you by NODL. At this point, you should be running your own Bitcoin node. If you don't use your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. And if you're a digital nomad, you have absolutely no excuse because now you can run a NODL through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. All right, guys, at the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is 20,570. Sats per dollar, 4,861. Block height, 760,531. Reachable Bitcoin nodes, 14,609. Blocks to the halving, 79,469. Halving estimate, April 21st, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity, 5,130. Capacity value, 105 million US dollars. Realized monetary inflation. Bitcoin continues to take fiat currencies to absolute school, 1.78%. Market capitalization, $394 billion with a B. Anyways, I ran into a very interesting video. This is Ed Dowd. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly, but he was an equity investment executive and he was a former BlackRock portfolio manager. And it was the best explanation I've heard of the current macroeconomic situation. And it's really interesting, guys, because remember the year that Bitcoin was born. Bitcoin was born on the heels of the financial crisis back in 2008, right? And I'll shut up. I'll let you guys play the video. I'll play the video and then we'll talk about it. Let's check it out.
Since the financial crisis, the central banks working in conjunction with the governments have basically created a zombie economy globally. And those who got wealthy were those who were closest to the printing machine. C-suite executives, hedge fund managers, asset managers, real estate developers. But if you were in the real economy doing real things, you've been falling behind for the last 12 years. There's been a game afoot, and the game is coming to an end. And all you need to understand to see what's going on is the central bankers and politicians will use every excuse to blame what's going to come on that rather than themselves, and the blame lies at their feet.
And right there is the signal, right? If you were an average, normal working person and you were just working, for a salary, you basically got rugged. And the main benefactors, and if you see the rise in wealth inequality in the United States, it's absolutely striking, right? And what is this? Why what he was describing is the Cantillon effect, right? Every time they print money, if you don't have your money in assets, right? If you don't have your money in real estate, if you don't have your money in equities, if you don't have your money in assets that benefit from asset inflation, meaning only the wealthy is really going to benefit from that, you absolutely got destroyed the last 10 years. You got poor while the extremely wealthy, the well-connected, the government benefited, and everybody else got pulled. And this is why something like Bitcoin is so important, because it levels the playing field, right? If I save in Bitcoin, I benefit the same amount that Michael Saylor does. So yeah, man, it's a shame, but this is why we're here. This is what the peaceful revolution is all about. It's about taking your time, your energy, your work back into your hands, taking it out of this system that benefits the few to a system that benefits everybody equally. Anyways, BTC June, what are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, man. I mean, 2008 financial collapse basically created the man. Everything was hunky dory. I had a great studio job, 18, 19. I was, making good money. Granted, of course, because a couple years later, along with the rest of the world economy, and a period of radicalization for me. Unfortunately, I got left into thinking that capitalism was the reason for all this, falling for all the word play. It all sounds so cool, but not realizing that oligarchy is what's at play here, right? So, but it turned me a philosophical person. I really went through it, and I kept going through it. 13 years haven't been easy for anybody. This is why we all Bitcoin, or Bitcoin found us, at least. Yeah, I mean, I've experienced it. I never had this class that I've ever participated in, and it's changed everything. I'm rich. I came up in the 20. What was it? Up the one bull market. So I got wrecked. So but I understand so much more now, and I save in sats.
Absolutely, and I think that's you buried the lead there a bit, and I think that's so important, right? Is that so many people are feeling the pain, right? The pain is, why is it that I have to constantly work harder? Why do I have to put in more effort, and I'm not getting my work in return? And the tragedy of this is a lot of people are blaming the economic system, and rightly so, because they're like, they know something inherently is wrong. But what they miss is it's not necessarily the system, that the economic system that's broken. It's the money that's broken. And it's created this type of crony capitalism where it's really the politicians that are getting to pick and choose who the winners are, which is actually a form of central planning, which is the whole tragedy of this. Anyways, we're going to try Opti's audio once again. Opti, could you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me? Am I back? It's worse?
Nah, man. It's
oh, my God. All right. Let me pop out and I'll pop back in. Look at that.
All right, guys. Looks like I am going to be hosting today with BTC June. But yeah, man, to continue the conversation, it's the whole thing it's a tragedy, but I think this is why we are here. This is what Bitcoin is about, and this is why we call it the peaceful revolution. And it's about opting out of that system and taking back your financial sovereignty. Like, this is what it's about. And remember, guys, no other cryptocurrency will be able to provide you that financial sovereignty because they are centralized. And because they're centralized, right, they are vulnerable to government co-option, government coercion. And like we saw with Ethereum is a tragedy, man. Once they move to proof of stake, we now know with 100% certainty that the majority of Ethereum validators today are actively censoring for the Office of Foreign Asset Control, the Treasury, right? And why did that happen? Because Ethereum is centralized, right? So the only cryptocurrency that has sufficient amount of decentralization to separate money from state is Bitcoin. And this is what we're all here about. And I think that description by Ed, man, like perfectly sums it up. The last 10 years, there was only a few winners and everybody else got poorer. Enough is enough. It's time to opt out into Bitcoin. Anyways, let's get to the news.
The Daily News.
Brought to you by Bitbox 2 Bitcoin Only Edition, a hardware wallet by Shift Crypto. Crypto like cryptography. It's secure, it's open source, and it's so easy your mom can set it up. Self-custody is the revolution, and the Bitbox makes it simple. Do not leave your Bitcoin on an exchange. Order a Bitbox today.
All right, guys, I want to talk about the catastrophe. This is insane. Bitcoin miner Core Scientific says it may seek bankruptcy. Core Scientific Inc., one of the world's largest miners of Bitcoin, warned that it may run out of cash by the end of the year and could seek relief through bankruptcy protection. Operating performance and liquidity has been severely impacted by the prolonged drop in the price of Bitcoin. A rise in electricity costs, increased competition, and litigation with Bankrupt Celsius Networks, LLC. The Austin, Texas-based company said in a U.S. Securities Exchange Commission filing on Thursday, shares of Core Scientific tumbled more than 40% in trading before regular market hours. The stock itself is down more than 90% from all-time highs. Bitcoin mining companies such as Core Scientific have recently been increasingly opting to sell equity, resorting to one of their least attractive options to raise money as profits dry up and higher interest rates makes borrowing more expensive. The company entered into a $100 million common stock purchase agreement with B. Riley Principal Capital the second in July. Bitcoin has slumped almost 70% since reaching a record high in November 2021. Core Scientific said it won't make payments coming due in late October and early November with respect to several of equipment and other financing, including 2 bridge promissory notes. The company is exploring alternatives, including hiring strategic advisors, raising additional capital, or restructuring its existing capital structure. Look at that. Absolutely wrecked, man. Core, and this is the most painful freaking part. Core Scientific held 24 Bitcoins and approximately 26 million in cash as of Thursday. That's compared with 1,051 Bitcoins, about 29 million US dollars in cash as of September, the company said in the filing. Holy crap. Talk about wreck. They went from holding over 1,000 Bitcoins and now they're down to 24 Bitcoin. The shares, which traded as much as $14.32, are now down about 37 cents. They've tumbled more than 90% this year. Now, what's the bright side to this? Well, here is an article published by No BS Bitcoin. Highly recommend their Telegram channel and their Twitter. Publicly traded Bitcoin mining firms account for 25% of total Bitcoin hash rate, up from 10% a year ago. So this is Nico's take on this. I hope more public mining companies go under. I want more independent Bitcoin miners. That's what I want, right? I want more decentralization. Remember, those big industrial miners are prone and are vulnerable to government interference and government coercion. So there's some good news here. The good news is, the bad news is, I think that's a big portion of the hash rate that might go under, meaning Bitcoin's theoretical security is going to go down, right? It will become easier to computational attack if the hash rate goes down. But the good news, right, is that you're going to see a lot of cheap miners. And if you're looking to get into Bitcoin mining, this is now the opportunity. And hopefully next time we see more of the hash rate in the hands of independent Bitcoin miners rather than these large Bitcoin mining companies that over leverage themselves with companies like Celsius that just went under to buy even more Bitcoin to buy even more equipment, to mine even more Bitcoin. The problem is that works, right? Celsius's business model worked. The public miner's business model worked. The problem is that it only works in a bull market. As soon as the bear market happens, all this leverage, all these decisions, they get absolutely wrecked. And that's what you're seeing here. The good news, though, like I've been saying, is this is nature healing itself. And if you guys remember from the 2017 and 2018 crash, right, it took a year, or roughly a year, maybe like 9 to 10 months for the Bitcoin hash rate to come back down, right? So man, this is a total bloodbath. It is not a good day to be a Bitcoin miner right now. And holy crap, what if not the largest Bitcoin public company in the world is about to declare bankruptcy. I don't see this getting better before it gets a whole lot worse. Anyways, BTC June, what are your thoughts on this, bro? It shouldn't surprise you.
No, it definitely does not surprise me. Part of my journey into Bitcoin was thinking that I can by investing in these mining companies, right? And oh man, at the end of the bull market to put some money in the mining companies, and you know what I mean. But that doesn't surprise me at all. These fiat chiefs over leverage themselves every chance they get. I mean, what does people that intelligent seeming would over leverage them on some kind of certain future? Like, that seems a little insane. But maybe they're smarter than that, and they may have over leveraged. I don't know. They got ways of getting out of that, I'm sure.
Yeah, the ways of getting out of that is they're going to go under. Like, that's the ways of getting out of that, man. This is what happens, man. But this is what I've been saying. The nature is healing itself. I'm going to try Opti one more time. We're having issues with Restream, everybody. I apologize. Opti, could you hear us? Are you with us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Or am I...
Woo!
I'm back. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully this continues to work. My view is this is just looking like a bear market bottom here. This is as you said, nature healing itself. This is free market capitalism at its best. And Bitcoin mining is hyper competitive. It's probably the most competitive industry there is. And this is just what's going to happen if people get over leveraged. And so this is just nature healing itself. And okay, hold on, guys. Let's see if all this stuff works today. All right. Nico, let's try this one more time. Apologies, everyone. I am trying to come back in.
While you're doing that, so I just want to say, like, I did a recent episode of that Puro Signal that was a special on pleb minor governable misfits, and I haven't really explored mining myself just because I'm not really at a place where at least I didn't think I was at a place where, start thinking about mining Bitcoin. But learning the decentralization of the hash rate and how possible it is to mine Bitcoin with alternative energy sources and flares and, heat your home with it. Who knows? You're somewhere where you got, I don't know, whatever you do. But it's such an important task, and it seems like miners might be on sale.
Yeah, no, this is definitely the opportunity of a lifetime, especially if you want to, you definitely want to get into Bitcoin mining. See if Opti's back. How you doing, Opti?
Well, I am good, but apparently my internet isn't. So hopefully I'm back. It looks like I'm frozen, but maybe my audio's coming in.
Yeah, audio's good. So audio
Okay,
only,
I'll go
Opti
audio
today.
only. I'll figure it out, guys.
We'll try to get it fixed for you guys tomorrow. Anyways, moving on to the next piece of news. It should not come as a surprise to you. This is the separation of money and state. After all, let's check it out. Check out this Forbes article. Biden administration wants to make it easier to seize crypto with criminal charges. Of course, when they say crypto, they mean Bitcoin and shitcoins. And this is an article on Forbes. Let's check it out. But buried deep in a 61-page recent report by the U.S. Attorney General, the Biden administration called for a dramatic expansion in the federal government's ability to seize and keep cryptocurrency. If enacted, the proposed changes would bolster both criminal forfeiture, which requires a conviction to permanently confiscate property, as well as civil forfeiture, which doesn't require a conviction or even criminal charges to be filed. Notably, the report's release was coupled with the announcement of a new digital assets coordinator network. The nationwide network is staffed with more than 150 federal prosecutors who will be trained on drafting civil and criminal forfeiture actions. Due to crypto's pseudonymous nature, it's sometimes assumed to be immune from government confiscation, but the reality is quite different. Last year, the U.S. Marshals, the custodians for Justice Department seizures, managed almost 200 cryptocurrency seizures worth $466 million. Now, that paragraph is really important because what they're doing there is they're showing you who's in control and who's in power. And they're showing you that they can seize this if they want to. Now, what they leave out, right? And of course, we're not advocating for breaking the law or anything like that. But what they leave out is if you properly secure your Bitcoin seed, there's nothing anybody could do it if they don't have access to that seed. So their usual methods of confiscation, which is why they're releasing articles like this, right? Their usual methods of confiscation, which is you knock on the door of a bank and say, hey, that account, freeze it, right? That is taken away in a Bitcoin world, as we saw with the Canadian truckers. Remember, they froze the accounts of, those services that people use to raise money, right? They were able to freeze the accounts of people in Canada that were protesting, but the only thing they weren't able to freeze was the Bitcoin transactions that they were donated to. And remember, if you live in the West, you're like, no, but you want the government to have the ability to freeze those types of assets. But remember, guys, over 60% of the world doesn't have that financial privilege. They might even be living in a totalitarian country. For example, in Afghanistan, one of the only methods for people to send money into Afghanistan was Bitcoin, right? And it was great. And then a couple months later, it was announced that the Taliban was cracking down on this thing. So Bitcoin empowers the individual always, right? And then what you're seeing here is the state standing their ground and saying, hey, we still have the power we once had. We're still able to do this if we really want to, right? But the signal is the reaction. The signal is the headline of this article. Biden administration wants to make it easier to seize crypto without criminal charges. Why would they make it easier if they weren't scared of the thing? And the fact that the Forbes article conveniently leaves out how if you have Bitcoin in self-custody, if you're the only owner of that private key, there's absolutely nothing anyone could do about it. So they're right now, what they're doing is they're establishing who's in charge. And this is what the separation of money and state is about. Since fiscal 2014, the FBI Secret Service and Homeland Security investigations have seized almost $680 million worth of crypto, with hundreds of still active investigations involving digital assets, but even those amounts pale in comparison to the IRS criminal investigation, which has confiscated a staggering $3.8 billion in virtual currency between fiscal 2018 and 2021. Nevertheless, the Justice Department argued that crypto has revealed limits on the forfeiture tools used, some signal right there, by federal law enforcement, and recommended several updates to existing law. First, the Attorney General wants to broaden the most abusive form of civil forfeiture, which occurs without any independent or impartial judicial oversight. Under administrative or non-judicial forfeiture, the seizing agency, not a judge, decides whether a property should be forfeited. The federal government can use administrative forfeiture to take almost anything, aside from real estate and property valued at more than $500,000. That $500,000 limit currently applies to cryptocurrency, but the Attorney General wants the $500,000 cap for cryptocurrency and other digital assets. This would eliminate one of the very few limits on administrative forfeiture. Even if Congress refuses to act, thanks to a law enacted last year, the Secretary of Treasury could simply end the cap by adopting new regulation. Remember, they always tell us, oh, this is a democracy. This is a democracy. No. These are unelected officials that have the power, without charging you of a crime, to take your stuff. This is the world we live in today. This proposal is deeply concerning. Administrative forfeiture provides shockingly scant protection for property owners. After seizing property, the government need only send notice of an administrative forfeiture. If an owner fails to quickly file a claim for their own property, it's automatically forfeited. Since the seized property may be the owner's most valuable asset, owners often don't have the means to fight back. Yet even when a claim is filed, the owner still might not get their day in court. According to a report by the Institute for Justice, federal agencies have rejected more than 1/3 of all filed claims for seized cash as deficient, with most claims denied due to technical reasons. They don't even get into the reasons why. Unsurprisingly, since administrative forfeiture cases are significantly easier for the government to win, administrative forfeitures accounted for almost 80% of all forfeitures conducted by the Department of Justice and 96% of Treasury Department's forfeiture activity. Although the Justice Department praises administrative forfeiture for being efficient and for reducing undue burdens in the court system, in reality, administrative forfeiture has burdened the lives of thousands of victims who have nothing wrong. Just ask Ken Karan. After coming to America from the Middle East, he opened a small convenience store in Greenville, North Carolina. But in June 2014, IRS agents barged into the store and told Ken they had a warrant to seize $570,000 and have already seized every penny in his bank account, $153,000. That money was Ken's entire life savings, earned over nearly 20 years of long hours of running his business. Less than 3 months later, Ken's bank account creatively forfeited. Without those savings, Ken was financial breaking point. He struggled to support his family, pay off his mortgage, and cover a line of credit he had to take out to keep his store afloat. Ken was never charged with the crime. To quote him, he says, "I never believed this could happen in America," Ken lamented. "I do not understand how in this country the government could take an honest businessman's entire bank account without providing that he did something wrong." Fortunately, with the help from the Institute for Justice, Ken later filed a petition for remission or mitigation. After a media firestorm in February 2016, the IRS agreed to return all the money they have wrongfully taken from Ken. Although he lost currency rather than crypto, as Ken's story shows, there is absolutely no need to make administrative forfeiture easier to use. In addition to expanding administrative forfeiture for crypto, the Justice Department would welcome amendments to provide criminal and civil forfeiture authority for commodities-related violations. Allowing criminal forfeiture after a conviction for fraud or manipulation in crypto markets would be a valuable tool to crack down on scammers. Currently, most cryptocurrencies are considered commodities rather than securities. So under federal law, governing commodity prosecutors can charge fraud and manipulation in cryptocurrency markets. But unlike securities, those statutes do not permit forfeiture of ill-gotten gains from criminal activity involving commodities. But extending civil forfeiture casts too wide a net and would make it much more likely for innocent holders to lose their crypto to government confiscation. After all, civil forfeiture lacks a conviction requirement, unlike criminal forfeiture. Moreover, there's a direct financial incentive for federal agencies to pursue forfeiture cases. Once property has been forfeited, either civilly or criminally, the seizing federal agency can retain up to 100% of the proceeds. So I'll put it to you this way, guys. Not only do they steal from you via inflation, not only do we have to pay taxes, they can take your stuff without charging you with a crime, and they get to keep your stuff. What is that? Now, this is why Bitcoin self-custody is so vital and so important, because it moves the balance of power. Now you can memorize a 12-word seed phrase. You could use multi-sig and separate those seed phrases geographically, and it becomes incredibly difficult for them to confiscate your wealth, which is why they're releasing these types of articles. They're trying to incept the public that the sheriff still has total power and control. This is, dude, this is disgusting, man. This is disgusting. It's like the whole nation state model is just, it's the relationship between government and citizen is like a serf relationship. It's like, you work for me. You do what I tell you. It's just, it's disgusting, man. And this is why Bitcoin is going to fundamentally change everything. Because if millions upon millions upon millions of individuals are not relying on custodians, they're taking self-custody of their wealth. They don't, Beauty On said it the other day, they don't have enough cops, enough agents to go after everybody. And that empowers the individual, and that eventually will force the government to change the relationship they have now with the individual, which is kind of like, you're my serf, you do whatever I want, to a more customer-based. Why? Because if that specific country or if that specific state becomes too totalitarian, it becomes unfriendly to businesses and entrepreneurs. Now what Bitcoin gives you, it gives you the tool to pick up and leave and go to where you're treated best. But dude, like, holy crap, man, this is disgusting. And the worst part about this is, as was the example with that gentleman from the Middle East, no, he wasn't charged with a crime. This is the worst part. There was no, they want to have the ability to take your stuff without charging you with a crime. Like, how does that work? And they steal from us via inflation? Why? What, like, what type of world is that? And then that explains why politicians act the way that they do. Look at all that power they have. What incentive do they have to change? It's fucking crazy. BTC June, what are your thoughts on that, man? Like, that dude, that's disgusting, bro. Like, they destroyed that man's life. They froze his account. They took all his life savings without charging him with a crime. And it was only because the media picked it up that he had a chance to get some of it back. They destroyed his life for what? So just because they have a monopoly on violence, it gives them the excuse to just go and steal people's stuff, and they force us to use their money, which steals from us via currency debasement? Like, what is this? What is this? This is absurd.
I mean, it's a whole system-wide deep of our spirit through the fear that they perpetuate, through their totalitarian kind of rule amplified in this news story. It was expressed, in it's expressed with all of this crazy identity policy baiting and all of this turning us against each other thing. And it's part of how they operate. And like you said, they can't possibly, there's no weapon in the world that they could do that with that wouldn't destroy themselves, But even that, we got farmland, we got, we're out there in the barns and mountains take us out. But the only way that they can do that is through this of fear. Look at that. And maybe that doesn't scare everyone. Sure, it scares some shop owners that hear about it. I'm from Philly, and I'm a bodega owner from down the street. His shop closed because a table inside of his kind of ball type of thing.
BTC June, your audio is clipping, my man. Opti, what are your thoughts, bro? Are you with us?
I don't know. Am I here?
Yes,
is this
you're
live?
good.
Is this live?
Your audio is good. Your audio is good.
Well, I mean, first off, did I hear that correctly? They want to change the rules to make it easier to steal your property. This is absolutely insane. It's just a big wow. Wow. It's amazing that we are fallen this far down into totalitarianism and just kleptocracy. This is insane. But I think this just further proves what we say all the time about Bitcoin. You can't coerce anyone from sending Bitcoin if they don't want to. You can keep your wealth in a brain wallet. And Bitcoin is a push system, which means you can only send it and you can't pull or confiscate funds. This is a feature, not a bug. This is why we say self-custody is the revolution. This is why brain wallets are important. This is why multi-sig setups are important, so that you can't get your wealth easily confiscated by the psychopath parasite class that wants to take everything from you for no reason. This is absolutely insane that this is where we are right now. And it's just amazing that the only reason he got some money back was because the media picked it up. This is the level of banana republic that we are living in right now. It's no longer the land of the free and home of the brave. This is insane. Nico said it to me, or said it to us the other day. America is the biggest employee of government employees. The biggest employer in the world is for bureaucrats of the United States. This is absolutely insane. This is no longer a government of the people, by the people, for the people. This is a government of the government, for the government. And you peasants, shut up and let me take your property. This is insane.
Yeah, and before we move on to the next segment, I want to leave it off with this, which is a passage from the Sovereign Individual, and they predicted all of this back in the 90s. And he says, new technologies will allow the holders of wealth to bypass the national monopolies that have issued and regulated money in the modern period. Their importance for controlling the world's wealth will be transcended by mathematical algorithms that have no physical existence. In the new millennium, cyber money controlled by private markets will supersede fiat money issued by government. It's crazy because this was written in the 90s before Bitcoin even was an idea. Lacking their accustomed scope to tax and inflate, governments, even in civil countries, will turn nasty. As income tax becomes uncollectible, older and more arbitrary methods of extraction will resurface. The ultimate form of withholding tax, the de facto or even overt hostage taking, will be introduced by governments desperate to prevent wealth from escaping beyond their reach. Unlucky individuals will find themselves singled out and held to ransom in an almost medieval fashion. Businesses that offer services that facilitate the realization of autonomy by individuals will be subject to infiltration, sabotage, and disruption. Arbitrary forfeiture of property, already commonplace in the United States where it occurs 5,000 times a week, will become even more pervasive. This was written in the 90s. Governments will violate human rights, censor the free flow of information, sabotage useful technologies, and worse. And ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly where we are in the movie. What can you do as an individual to protect yourself from this? First of all, take Bitcoin into self-custody. That's what you should do. Also, look into judicial arbitrage, meaning look into getting a second passport, plan B. There's many countries that offer your ability to buy citizenship. Go to where you're treated best, right? Because that is the only way that governments will eventually change. Because this whole racket of them all holding us hostage, because that's what it feels like, man, I'm tired of the endless wars. I'm tired of this inflation. I didn't sign up for this. I pay my taxes. I don't break the law. I tried to do my best, but they want more. Enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. And this is what the Bitcoin peaceful revolution is all about. Anyways, let's get to the culture.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com. All right, guys, before we get to the culture, I want to tell you guys about Pacific Bitcoin. It's coming up. It's literally in less than a couple of weeks, November 10th through 11th, Pacific Bitcoin. Speaker list includes Michael Saylor, Lynn Alden, Corey Clipston, Jeff Booth, Breedlove, Pierre Richard, Guy Swan, Nico, and Opti are going to be doing a live Simply Bitcoin from Pacific Bitcoin at the Swan Dome. Take advantage of the promo code all caps Simply to get a major discount on your Pacific Bitcoin tickets. You're not going to want to miss this conference. Opti, what do you have for us today?
All right, guys. First and foremost, hey, June, turn off your video so that we can get clearer audio because we're going to have a little conversation right here.
right.
Guys, June, in my opinion, we had a great conversation last night on BK, and he told me that me and my buddy Wine are one of the reasons why he is such a savage Bitcoiner, principled Bitcoiner, and we're the reasons why he is an orange-pilled Bitcoiner out here. And last night we had an awesome conversation, and part of the gist was being your own superhero. But June said something that I really enjoyed, and I think it's a great talk about what I try to tell everyone here on the culture. And June is a creator of that Bortle Signal. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but he makes his 80s dance music, and he does like samples of Bitcoin content over the top of it, and I think everyone should go check it out. It's definitely a vibe. It's funky music with Bitcoin clips on top, and it's really awesome, and it's something really cool to see. But what he said last night, I think this is why I brought it up to the culture, is because I know a lot of people ask, how do I get into Bitcoin? I'm not a developer. I don't code. I'm not a miner. I just stack sats. And June said something to me that our mutual friend from Oshi said to him. And I hope that his audio can come through because I want him to elaborate on this. And he basically said, do what you do best and stamp Bitcoin on it. And this is something that I tell everyone all the time. Just provide the value and save in Bitcoin. But I really love his addition to that meme of do what you do best and stamp Bitcoin on it. And June, just explain this to the people out there, and you can maybe jump in a little bit on your journey, and we'll get into a few other talks after.
All right, yeah. First of all, am I coming in clear?
Yes.
All right, yeah, man. Well, shout out to Michael from Oshi for part of one of the nodes in this journey of mine of finding my place, and because it's not easy. One, it's not easy to what's going on with Bitcoin, and then to try to figure out as a non-developer in Bitcoin. I mean, it's not an easy journey. Person who, my passions run hot. Truth and freedom run extremely hot. So when I found Bitcoin, it's like there's so much more here. Like there's so much more to say. Bitcoin vibe is so much richer than know it to be so far. Like we are so early. So that's try to bring to the table with, my sound work, that pure signal, but also in a Sovereign Rancher and Texas Slims Media. What I'm trying to do, how cinematic this transformation of reality is. I mean, this is a sci-fi reality we're living in, and it's unbelievable. But to see that, you have to sort of see the whole space and to see what we're talking about, right? Not just what we're writing, but what we're talking about. So that's my thoughts on that.
Beautiful. All right, the next one, bro. I say it all the time on this show, be a shining example of being a Bitcoiner. And I always add the emphasis of having a fit body, mind, and that will also get you to having a fit soul. And you mentioned it, you now work with the Beef Initiative, and you talk a lot about on being on the masses out there being malnourished, and for us to be nourished enough and eating the correct food so that we are able to usher these sats into the future. So what's the perspective behind this, bro? And maybe we can get people to start eating a little better out there.
I mean, we just learned the importance of phrase, right? Of knowing it, keeping it in your mind. Now, I have trouble remembering stuff like that, and I've always in the past had trouble putting in remember something like that. And as my diet has changed so radically, and really going in on the Beef Initiative, bro, I'm up 36 pounds a month of it, because what's happening is my brain is in the cleanest way I've ever felt in my life. Like hours. I can do CrossFit within that 10 hours. I can work with over at the Beef Initiative, Ann Warner from Holy Cow, and Ty Jackson and BT working on stories together. All this in a day, and I can produce that Puro signal. That's, and so my brain is absolutely sharper than ever. And phrase, you know what I mean? I wasn't able to learn it before, but along with all that other stuff, I heard my corn in my head, and that is something that comes from having all the proper minerals and nutrients that come from a well soil, like K&C cattle out there outside of Cole Bolton and his family are doing. They're doing like their oil is all I can say, because how can I eat, 8 to 10 ounces meat for 10 hours? I'll eat 12 ounces of steak from the grocery store, and I'm hungry 6 hours. So it's crazy.
Yeah, man. I definitely need to get on that Beef Initiative vibe. And our other friend, Mr. Robot's been telling me that for a while as well. You are having some audio issues, but you asked me to ask you, what is the Cattleman's Kill It and Grill It event? And then we'll roll this out and get to the memes. And hopefully today's audio issues won't be too bad.
All right. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah. You're there. You're coming back. You're dropping in and out.
All right, let's try to just give me, hold on.
Hey Opti, I think we got to wrap up the culture. We gotta move on to the meme review, my friend. Right.
Yeah, wrecked. Sorry guys, I don't know what is going on over here with my audio issues, but let's.
Guys, it looks like we're having some issues with Restream. It's been giving us some problems the last couple of days. We're gonna try to fix it for you guys. Just bear with us. This is the live show, Simply Bitcoin Live, and because it's live, we will make mistakes. Anyways, let's check out the meme review.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Cypher Safe. Don't be that person that loses their Bitcoin seed due to fire damage, water damage, dog attacks. Back up your generational Bitcoin wealth on steel, and there's no better place to do it than the Cypher Grid by Cypher Safe. And now check out their new Bitcoin art, the Bitcoin Rulux triangle, only on cyphersafe.io.
All right, guys, hopefully I'll be able to get this segment going. This is the meme review. You guys already know the meme we created over here. Tweets are the bullets and memes are the artillery in this information war that we find ourselves in. Continue to make the memes, continue to get the calls of action, continue to get the truth out there, because the people need to know that Bitcoin is the solution. This first one is by @NeedCreations, and I absolutely love this because I fundamentally think that this is a truth of the Bitcoin space. And he goes, hashtag Bitcoin is obvious. Sound money makes sense to a sound mind. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Alex Gray's art, but I really like this art piece right here. And it's got, you know, the Bitcoin right here in the third eye, and it's just propagating truth and capturing all that signal and all the right frequencies. This next one is by Captain B71223. And I know you guys remember Marie Kondo in the last bear market. Well, he did a little update on this meme, and he goes, get your Bitcoin in order, tidying up all your UTXOs with Marie Kondo. And in the meme, it goes, the life-changing of tidying up your UTXOs, a magic internet money story, a play on Marie Kondo. Make sure your UTXOs and your self-custody is sparking joy, because you do not want to get wrecked out there. This next one, we all remember last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, when PayPal did their policy of you know, charging you $2,500 if you have the wrong thing, if you are not following the current meme. We got to play on the Drake meme, and he looks away and he goes, PayPal misinformation policy, mine is $2,500. And then he points at Freedom Money, which is Bitcoin. This is the way, guys. You need to opt out of these centralized systems that can basically cancel you for saying and doing the wrong thing. And this next one, we had this great conversation yesterday in our spaces, and it was kind of along this lines. And RDBTC, I don't even think he was in the space, but he's on the same vibe. And he goes, best place for them, hashtag Bitcoin. And it's a play on SpongeBob. And I forget what, this is Mrs. Puff, I believe. She's getting thrown into the crazy loony bin. And it goes, Bitcoiners dealing with central bankers after hyper-Bitcoinization. Yes, I think this is going to be the way. I would not want to be a family member of a central banker. This next one, I really hope this video plays. This is by our buddy Space Bull, and it's a video. And it goes, this is how Bitcoin works. And while we may not or may be at the bottom of the current bear market, this will happen soon enough where the Bitcoin price will just start to climb the walls of worry and get to the top. Gradually, then suddenly, the price will go up. This is a feature, not a bug. This next one is by Relay App, and it's a Lena Sichet meme, and it goes, Bitcoin will save you. And you can see here, it's take your parents to school day. And we got the euro with the ECB, and it goes, my mom prints tens of billions every month. We got the dollar, and it goes, my dad printed 80% of my entire supply in under 2 years. And then we got Bitcoin with Satoshi, and it goes, my dad created me to save the people from your inevitable hyperinflation. And Satoshi, the father of Bitcoin, goes, Bitcoin be nice. And Bitcoin goes, but it's true. And then Satoshi again goes, it is, but they won't get it. Don't waste your time trying to convince them. And then we got the euro and the ECB. Mommy, am I going to hyperinflate? Yes, you will. And this last one, I think this is a new thread that Nico and I are saying a lot on this show. Bitcoin is bipartisan. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you are. Bitcoin is for anyone. And I really like this meme from Memeing Bitcoin. Remember the Lord of the Rings meme I did the other day? And it goes, Bitcoin is hope. And we have the dwarf, I forget what his name is, and he goes, never thought I'd fight side by side with a progressive or conservative. And we got the elf, I forget their names. And it goes, what about side by side with a Bitcoiner? And he goes, I could do that. Guys, this is the way. This is where we're at right now. We are all in the sound money gospel. Well, apparently I can't show you my score today, but I have this bottle of Aveeno Daily Moisturizing Lotion that I never use. I probably need to on my elbows, but hey, that is my score. I'll show you guys the bottle when I get my video going. All right, Nico, your turn.
I know. I'm thinking about it with the dramatic music. I'm gonna give it this piece of paper. It has text on it.
Oof.
Very mysterious. What could it say? I don't know. Anyways, guys, this is Simply Bitcoin Live. Rate the meme, put the meme score in the live chat, and we will get to it. First one, Opti's neglected bowl of raw ketchup only. Score, stay humble, eat a bowl of raw ketchup only for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Stack sats. I like that. I like that.
Now you're supposed to eat steak at 9:30 a.m., guys. Come on.
All right, looks like there's no... Oh, here we go. Bitcoin ascent. I give those memes all of core scientifics, ASIC miners. Oof. Michael Morrison says, I give those memes my bow. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Diogenes, we will work your intro for next week. I promise, bro. I have it on my schedule list. I give those memes a Gimli and Legolas. Oh, if you know, you know, if you're Lord of the Rings fan or junkie. And Z-Logic, I give those memes the newest tool album. Very nice. Anyways, guys, make sure to check out Simply Bitcoin's Telegram group. Go to www.t.me/the Simply Bitcoin channel. Also, check out Simply Bitcoin Unfiltered. Go to www.simplybitcoin.news. All right, Opti, let's roll it out. Guys, also check out the audio version of this show. Go to Anchor, go to Spotify, go to Apple, go to Fountain. You could go to your favorite podcasting app, search Simply Bitcoin. We will be there if you want to listen to the audio version. We get a lot of those messages in the comments. Hey, where can I listen to the audio version? Just look it up. It's on your favorite audio podcasting platform. Also, check out our awesome clothing sponsor, representltd.com. They make stylish, comfy Bitcoin merch. They're making Simply Bitcoin merch soon too. You could take advantage of the promo code simply-bitcoin to get 10% off representltd.com. Guys, we're really sorry about the technical issues that we had today. It's completely out of our control. Maybe we move to another streaming platform. We will try to get it fixed for tomorrow. Bear with us. This is Simply Bitcoin Live. Benefits is you get the authenticity, all the mistakes live, but of course, when there is a mess up, it's very hard to fix it on air. Anyways, if you guys like this episode, you know what to do. Hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you feel what we said was valuable to you. And of course, share this video. And we will see you tomorrow for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best.